What's up, guys? Welcome back to Lucky Locks Picks, and welcome to this Bellator 253 predictions video. So kicking off this card, we got Cauley and Jason Markland, and this is at light heavyweight. This is at 205. This is Cauley's first professional fight, so he's 0-0 on the record, and this is Jason Markland's second. He's 0-1. I think Cauley is going to be the bigger and stronger guy here. He's faced slightly better competition coming up on the amateur scene. And I think he's really going to look to establish himself here with this victory, get himself a good start as a Bellator fighter. And I think Bellator wants him to win this fight. I think it's a favorable matchup for him. Jason Markland's also a replacement fighter here. So yeah, I think Cauley gets the job done. Okay, and the next fight is going to be J.J. Wilson against Sergio Tabari. J.J. Wilson's got a great ground game. I think he's going to look to get takedowns pretty often. I think he's going to get them. His last fight was against Claxton. He looked pretty good. He ended up winning a split decision. And Claxton's a good fighter. I don't think Tabari is on the same level as Claxton, and I think that J.J. Wilson is going to be able to basically just do what he wants in this fight. I think he's going to be able to get it to the ground pretty easily and then just do his thing from there. So I'm going to go with J.J. Wilson here, and I feel pretty confident in this pick. Then we have Jaleel Willis versus Mark Leminger, and Jaleel Willis is coming in at 13-2. Mark Lemminger is coming in at 11-2. And for Mark Lemminger, his only losses have been to Amasov, who just won last week on Bellator. He's an undefeated fighter. His record is now 25-0, I think, after he just beat Storley. So that's not a bad loss to have. And his other one came to Jason Witt, who's a UFC fighter, also just got a victory in his most recent fight in the UFC, and that was a loss that came in 2018. So he's going to come to fight, and he's going to make it real close. Jaleel Willis was training to fight against Patricky Pitbull. Unfortunately, that bout fizzled out. So he's been training for someone who I think is definitely better than Leminger. Jaleel Willis is also going to have a big reach advantage here. He's on a 4-fight win streak. And I think that Bellator kind of wants Willis to win this. I think they are looking to market him as one of their top guys in the future. And I'm going to be going with Jaleel Willis in this fight. Kevin Ferguson Jr. versus Kahim Murray. Kevin Ferguson Jr., better known as Baby Slice, Kimbo Slice's son. He's a record of 3-2. He's got good power in his hands, and he's a fighter that Bellator is going to look to push just because of the name value that he brings. So I think they're kind of giving him, I don't want to say easy, but an opponent that he's going to be able to, have a real good chance at finishing. I think he probably will get the finish in this. Kahim Murray coming in at 3-3. I just see Kevin Ferguson Jr. getting it done here, and I think he probably gets the knockout. So now we have Keith Lee, who's coming in at 7-3, against Rafael Stots, who's coming in at 14-1. Stots is proven. He's got good cardio. He's fit, and I think he's going to be able to win a decision here. Keith Lee has been looking better and better, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough to keep up with Stots here. Stots is just, he's good. I think he's going to be able to get takedowns, and I think that he's going to be able to win the scorecards in this. I know that Keith Lee is improving, so this isn't really one of my more confident picks, I don't think, but I do think that Stots is going to get it done. Now we have Jeremy Kennedy versus Matt Bissett, and Kennedy's coming in at 15-2 versus Bissett's 24-9. Kennedy had a pretty good UFC career, went 3-1, and his only loss was to Volkanovski, the current featherweight champ. And he had a solid run in PFL. He's 28. Bissett is 35. I think Bissett's just kind of on the decline. I think he's a little less skilled, and I feel pretty confident that Jeremy Kennedy is going to get the victory tonight. Joey Davis versus Bobby Lee. Davis coming in undefeated at 7-0. Lee coming in at 12-4. Joey Davis has great wrestling. Of his 7 wins in Bellator, 5 of them have been first round finishes. He's going to have the size advantage, reach advantage, and I think he's just going to kind of have the skill advantage too. I think he's just better. Bobby Lee's good. I don't think he's on the same level as Joey Davis, and most of all, I just don't know if he's going to be able to compete with the physicality of Davis. I think that Davis is really going to bring the fight to him, and I feel pretty confident that he's going to get the job done in this one. Now we have Benson Henderson versus Jason Jackson. Benson Henderson coming in at 28-9 versus Jackson coming in at 12-4. And Henderson had a pretty lengthy UFC career, but when you really put it in perspective, that was kind of a long time ago now. He's 37 years old. He's still very good and definitely still a really good Bellator fighter. He'll probably still even have the speed advantage in this fight, I'd say. But he's quite a bit smaller. Jackson's longer than him, bigger, stronger. He's younger. Jackson's 30 years old. And I think he's just going to put the pressure on him, and I think his striking is just going to overwhelm Henderson, and I think that Jackson's just going to get the job done tonight. I'm not super confident in this. This is probably my least confident pick of the night, just because you can't really count out Benson Henderson, but I do think that Jason Jackson is just going to be a little bit too much for him tonight, and that's who I'm picking in this fight. Now for the main event, we have Caldwell versus AJ McKee. Caldwell coming in 14-3, McKee coming in undefeated, of course, at 16-0. And this is the semi-final of the featherweight tournament. Obviously, in the other semi-final, we just saw Patricio Pitbull, the current champion, defeat Carvalho to move on. So McKee has 3 finishes in his last 4 fights. 2 of them were in the first round. He's 25 years old. He's undefeated. He looks great. Caldwell's coming into this fight looking really good as well. He just beat Boric in his last fight. That was a first-round finish, and he beat Henry Carrias too. So those are 2 tough guys that he beat before this. He's 32 years old, but all in all, I just don't think he has what it takes to beat AJ McKee. I think McKee is just too good, and I think he's going to get it done tonight, and I feel good about that pick. So thank you guys very much for tuning in for another prediction video. Stay tuned for more, and good luck to all the bettors tonight. Hopefully we make some money.